40টা ডাইং ইন্ডাস্ট্রির জন্য ঢাকা শহরের 1,60,00,000 মানুষের যে নদীটা প্রয়োজন সেটাকে মেরে ফেলতে পারি না। তো একটা মেকানিজম আমাদেরকে বের করতে হবে। And you will be hearing other section of the people suffering from lack of access to clean and safe water. So we need to break that silo, as one of the previous speakers were saying, that he has been hearing about these problems for decades and things are not changing. I won't say that things are not changing. Things are getting worse. So in that sense, things are changing, but there are rays of hope. If we work together, there are rays of hope. We are having this problem of lack of access to both groundwater and surface water. Dhaka is a city of 7 rivers. How many capitals in this world has got 7 rivers flowing through or around it? With 7 rivers flowing through and around Dhaka, we still have to go to Meghna for getting potable water for the people of this country. And every year we see, this is not the first time that it's happening, every year we see that at in certain months, dead fishes float in the river because the limit of pollution goes so high. I mean, if this is what we call development, then I think we have to really seriously think about the definition of development. Now, who has given a given sector of the people the right to pollute river in a way that fish will be floating dead and the fishermen will lose their source of livelihood? While one garments industry may be employing 2,000 laborers, there are 5,000 fishermen, 10,000 villagers who are dependent on the water of that same river. So there is where we need that notion of sustainable development to be applied. On groundwater, the Ministry of Water Resources has already drafted a guideline which is called the Industrial Water Use Guideline. The groundwater is taken as free resource by the corporate entities, and that practice must change because water is not something infinite. And in this era of climate change, we can't be giving free access to groundwater for too long a period. So this industrial water use policy guideline has been finalized, which eventually, not today itself, which will eventually put an end to free extraction of groundwater without any limit. That will be finalized very soon. We have already had conversation with the private sector, and few days back it was the Swedish SIDA that arranged a meeting between the ministry people, the BWDB people, and with some brand owners. I see some of them are included in this alliance. And following that conversation, the Ministry of Water Resources has actually formed a working group. So it has been just 6-7 days that we had that conversation. So we are having a working group where we will be inviting representation from the Textile Mills Association, from Garments Association. The private sector will have to play a role. That working group has a broad mandate, and they'll actually be talking about how to phase out from excessive use of groundwater, how to rationalize their use of, how to ensure that groundwater that's extracted is reused, and how to ensure that water that is used is not discharged into the nearby surface water untreated. How to also strengthen the capacity of the monitoring agencies like the Department of Environment through online monitoring. The good news is this working group will very soon have a meeting and will kick off the action on free and unlimited extraction of groundwater on surface water. If I just concentrate here in Dhaka, given the very limited time period that we have, we will not be able to address the problem of the entire country. If we just take the example of Dhaka, the 4 major rivers of Dhaka are biologically dead. Means no aquatic life survives there. From that point, bringing it up to a level where it will be clean is indeed a daunting task, and I must thank the World Bank for agreeing to get into a partnership with the Ministry of Water Resources for at least working the activities in one river, which is Turag River. We are now in the stage of developing the DPP. So we'll go for action after all these formalities, hopefully by October. Turag is comparatively more manageable than Buriganga, but at the same time, we are developing a program for freeing all 4 major rivers of Dhaka from pollution and encroachment, where both World Bank and ADB have agreed to help us, but that process will start only in 2026. I mean, the activities will start in 2026. The other processes hopefully will be wrapped up by March, April. And on Turag, I'm very excited that we'll be able to kick off the actual activities very soon. And I'm always, chasing my colleagues in Bangladesh Water Development Board so that the DPP is finalized as soon as possible. So thank you, World Bank, for your, I would say rather proactive support in this regard. Now on the issue of Dhaka, Ghazipur, Narayanganj and these areas facing severe crisis with regard to groundwater availability, I think it's very important that the way urbanization is taking place in Dhaka and in the surrounding rivers, the urban development authorities should come forward and make it mandatory for certain households to have their own rainwater harvesting system. And when I talk about the industries, heavily water-intensive industries to be switching from groundwater extraction to other modes of water utilization, I've also heard that one company has come forward, Chorka of Pran has come forward with a model where they can do the dyeing activities without using any water whatsoever. So I see the scope of technology as a major player in changing the whole game. So while I admit that the situation is totally unsustainable, the fact that we are coming forward with guidelines that will regulate the activities of water extraction, that will regulate the behavior of the polluters, the habitual polluters, and the fact that the private sector will also be an important player in the whole episode gives me hope that the situation, the status quo will actually start to change. So it is also, it's not only the water resource ministry or the industry ministry or the water development board. I think the Department of Public Health and Engineering also will have to play a role, and the agencies associated with or responsible for regulating urbanization may also be thought of for inclusion in the alliance. With these words, let us not be very frustrated that things haven't changed much. We have kept the agenda alive and now we are actually taking concrete action. One last note, I would really seek help from BKMEA and BGMEA, FBCCI and MCCCI in regulating the extremely polluting activities of the dyeing factories in Shampur. They have been doing it for decades and it has to come to an end. So before the upcoming Eid, we are sitting with the 42 polluters of which 32 actually claim to have ETPs. You will have to play a role there as the representative body of the industries to ensure that these 42 dying industries do not kill the Buriganga River, on which the well-being of কত কোটি আমরা এখন এখানে ঢাকাতে 1 crore 60 lakh people depend.